Well, hello everybody. It's me, Ms. Dark Shigo here, and today, welcome back to another review. And today we have another movie that came out in the 1990s. The last 90s movie I reviewed was Barney's Great Adventure. Today I'm going to review something that came out in 1996, and that movie is called Beavis and Butthead Do America. Now, most of you guys who were probably as, you know, no, kids in the 90s probably remember your parents probably watched, a clip of Beavis and Butthead, or maybe watch an episode in the middle of the night while you're supposed to be asleep. Well, today I'm going to be reviewing this movie. It's called Do America. It came out in 1996, and of course, it stars Mike Judge as, well, Beavis and Butthead, Bruce Willis as Muddy Grimes, Demi Moore as Dallas Grimes. Now, Demi Moore has been in a couple other films besides this film. Like, I do recognize her in a couple of other films, which of course, she's been in a couple other films besides this one, which of course, she was in movies like what was it? Oh yeah, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. She voices Esmeralda in that Disney movie, which I think she did a really great job. She was in some of the Austin Powers movies, which I thought she was pretty good in those. So I mean, with all due reality, when I heard that she was in Beavis and Butthead to America, I honestly did not even know she was in that one, but her voice sounded familiar because, well, I saw, she was Esmeralda in the Hunchback of Notre Dame movie, which I haven't seen that movie in like years. It's a good movie by Disney. So Beavis and Butthead to America has a really good plot line, and this one, most of you guys who were born in the 90s or early 2000s should know who Beavis and Butthead are. It's based on a cartoon that Mike Judge had created in the early mid 90s. So there is a sequel to this one called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which I do plan to review that one maybe someday in the future, but not right now though because I've not seen it yet. So I'm just thought, you know what? Let me do this movie called Beavis and Butthead Do America. So this film is the plot of this movie is pretty awesome, and it's pretty crazy too because these two characters from Beavis and Butthead go in all sorts of stuff, all sorts of adventures. They go on some crazy adventures, together. And what's surprising is that, well, Bruce Willis used to be married to Demi Moore from 1987 to 2000, which I didn't even know about it just recently. But of course, Bruce Willis was in a couple of Die Hard movies, which I thought that was pretty neat. So that's who I do recognize Bruce Willis from. And of course, we also do have Mike Judge, who directed this film, written it, as well as voiced in it. So he actually was the same person that created Beavis and Butthead. So, anyways, I think I should get going with the plot of this movie for any of you guys who have not seen this movie in like a really, really long time. So basically, Beavis and Butthead had Do America has a really good plot and it's really well made. Like, no joke. I literally love the plot of this movie. It's silly too. I'm not going to lie. It is really, really, really silly. And I have to say right now that I really like this movie. Even though I was a kid in, the early 2000s, I personally liked this film. So I'm going to go ahead and, explain the plot of this movie for any of you guys who have not seen this movie. So, the plot of this movie is about Beavis and Butthead waking up one day to see their television is missing. However, they go set out to find it, but they try to decide to get another TV. But after failed attempts, they come across this motel offers one in every room. They meet this villain named Muddy Grimes, who mistakes them for his hired hitman. He offers them $10,000 to kill his wife Dallas in Las Vegas. So they think that he wants them to go at it with her. But like they pretty much say that they could score a woman, you know. I mean, if you've seen and watched Beavis and Butthead, you probably understand what the word they're going to score this or chick or whatever. For those of you who've watched Beavis and Butthead for a long time should know what it is. But later on, Beavis and Butthead go to Las Vegas by Muddy, who drives them to the airport. They get into the hotel room when they get there. Of course, they refuses Dallas's offer of 20 grand to kill Muddy over and argue. So, yeah, that's when, they meet Dallas in Las Vegas. So, however, though, this is really something Dallas does. She's another villain. She plants the X5 unit in Beavis's shorts and tells them to meet her at the U.S. Capitol, known as, well, the Capitol building. But actually plans to kill them to recover the unit. So they didn't know about that. Beavis and Butthead eventually boards a tour bus and they get sabotaged by a Hoover Dam, which of course the ATF becomes convinced due to the criminal masterminds are Beavis and Butthead. However, though, Beavis and Butthead accidentally board the wrong bus, join a busload of nuns who were repulsed by the boys. So they ended up getting driven down to, well, Virginia. Yeah, which of course, that's what Muddy wants to take Beavis and Butthead to. But they jump on the interstate, and that is when they walk up, seen aboard the original tour bus, stopping at the Capitol before the White House. So eventually, that's when the ATF eventually catches, well, the criminals, Dallas and Muddy. And of course, Beavis and Butthead show them, the unit that Dallas tries to put in Beavis's shorts just to make Beavis like he's the criminal when that's not the case. So that is when they pretty much defeated the villains, and they meet President Bill Clinton, who makes them honorary ATF agents. And of course, they returned to Highland, upset that they did not receive any money or scored, but they found their original TV at the motel, and they ended up returning home. So that is pretty much the movie. Honestly, this is honestly a pretty good movie. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was like a really good movie involving, Beavis and Butthead. I mean, it's pretty good, especially for the 90s. I mean, something that's made in 1990s by Mike Judge. Honestly, this movie was quite silly. It was funny too. So I'm not going to lie, it was really funny. I mean, the fact that Demi Moore and Bruce Willis was in this movie, honestly, that was pretty awesome to see them. I mean, I think it's a real treat because I've never expected to hear Demi Moore, in Beavis and Butthead to America, because I've seen her only in voice in Esmeralda in, well, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. But when I heard she was in this one, honestly, I was surprised. While this is a very good movie, it does have a good plot line. It's pretty silly too, to be honest. I mean, it's really silly how they go on their little shenanigans, doing what Beavis and Butthead normally do. I honestly really recommend this movie because this movie, it came out in the 1990s. So, I mean, if you were, if you're into these kind of movies like with adult humor like Beavis and Butthead, I definitely recommend you guys check out this movie. You will not be disappointed. While the animation's really good, it's got good actors and stuff like that. I highly recommend you check out Beavis and Butthead TV show. I mean, it's really good and the animation's fantastic, especially for something that was made in the 90s. I mean, I personally like the original Beavis and Butthead show that came out in the 1990s. While I understand not everybody will, like it, but I personally really enjoyed it. So, with that being the case and with that being said, I mean, if you're into humor that Beavis and Butthead humor type speaking, and you like film Mike Judge, I highly suggest you check out this film. You will not be disappointed. It's a great movie. It's really funny too, I'm not going to lie. it does have funny moments in this, and it does is it is does very do does fit a pretty good special place in my heart when it comes to these 90s films. So, do I recommend this movie? I highly recommend you check out this movie if you haven't. It's a really good movie, especially for something that came out in the 1990s. So, I mean, in all due reality, I recently just watched this movie again after I watched it while writing the story called Pooh and Friends Do America. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. This is honestly a pretty good, movie. I personally really enjoyed this movie pretty much. It is a really fantastic, good movie. So, do I recommend this movie to anybody who is a fan of Beavis and Butthead? Yeah, I highly recommend this. So, I can't say anything what I did not like about it, but I can say it's a great film. It's funny. It's hilarious. So, I recommend you guys take a look at this movie if you haven't. So, I give Beavis and Butthead 10 out of 10. Great movie. It's funny. The humor is hilarious. It's got great actors. You know, I'm really surprised that it's got Demi Moore in it, which I think she did a fantastic job. Bruce Willis in this one, he did a fantastic job as well. There's great acting, etc., etc. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and that being said, if I am missing anything about Beavis and Butthead Do America that I did not mention in this video, let me know what it is in the comments below. Also, if you happen to like this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, if you're interested in following my main channel known as the Lion Queen. Link to that will be in my channel, in the About page section of my channel, so you guys can go and find that one. If you guys are interested in subscribing to my, Lion Queen channel, feel free to do so. And follow my other social media on that one if you want to go check that out. So, I guess with that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And as always, we'll see you all next time.